Okay, I got one. When you're shooting a lot, it appears to me that you use parallel English. You don't use what they call backhand English or front hand English.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming down to the right of the cue ball, you're parallel to the center of the cue ball.
Right.
You're not at an angle. Now, I'm not. That's just what I'm seeing on the stuff. And you actually made an interesting comment in your last video, so I want to clear that up. But I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff on backhand English, where you come down looking at the ball just like you would for a center ball hit, and then you move your cue.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Right, you don't do that. Right. And what that concept is that by moving the cue, you're automatically compensating the aim for the deflection of the cue.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of the Filipino guys use that system.
Right.
Okay. But so when you do this, that means to move, like if you look at a ball and there's your center ball place, and you know the cue's going to deflect, you aim it at a point so where you're not for a center ball hit any longer. You're going to aim it to undercut it or cut it the opposite direction of the throw, not the throw, the deflection.
I just get down on a different line. If I'm putting left-hand English on it, the line is no longer the same as if I'm putting center ball English on it and then talking over at the last second. I don't switch at the last second. I just get down. Like if I'm putting a tip of left-hand English on it, the line is a tip to the left.
Right. Okay. Because you made a comment where you got down on a ball in the last video. I'm actually combining two of my questions. And you got up. And you said you got back down because the Q-tip was not in the right place for the line you were playing.
The line, yeah.
And I have noticed that in myself where what happens is I'll get down on the ball. And when I first get down, it's one thing, but I take a couple practice strokes and the tips wandered over half a tip left.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't figured out why. I got down with some bias in the way I went down, so it wasn't totally relaxed, so that when I went down with the tip on a certain line, it stayed on that line.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe you subconsciously knew you got down on the wrong line and you tried to compensate?
Well, it looked right. That's the problem. I'm saying when I get down, it looked right. And then as I relaxed and I took a couple practice strokes, it moves a little bit. And I went, wow, why is that? That to me, that's where I think it looked right up here, but I got down across the line instead of going straight down on the line. So now my eyes are in the wrong spot. Or the cue is in the wrong spot. My eyes are in the right spot.
Yeah, this is why it's so damn important to practice getting down. Because it's not just, okay, I see the line, I'm going to get down on the line. You're training the muscles in your back to bend to that line every single time. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, I see the line so I can do it. It doesn't mean you can do it because your muscles aren't trained. And this is what I try to tell people, and that's why they should practice at their house getting down on that line. Because you can think you got down on the line, but you can see it's a little bit wrong, and now you're adjusting back, and now you're creating all kinds of bad habits. Did you ever try to make a line from the cue ball to the object ball and just forget about the rest of the line? And just...
that's... I don't know.
I mean, that's the line you're getting down on.
Right, and forget the other line, because it doesn't matter once you've figured out the line to get down on.
Right. So you're just practicing getting straight down on the line from the cue ball to the object.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm doing it on my table where I don't actually even have a pocket to distract me from getting down on that line of those two balls, right? The straight in shot and getting down right on the same line. And I have the line all the way up, so the line's running under my cue. I can kick it.
But when you're practicing at home, you're focusing on the bridge to the cue ball. Forget about that line, which is the same as the object
Right.
ball.
I got you.
So let's just forget about that line and just focus on the line from the cue ball to the object ball. And practice just getting down on that.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of it, I would like to spend a couple of hours with you and just watch it. And I would get a helper. I would pay some helper $10 an hour to set up the same exact shot.
Because we've chatted about this. You love to draw the ball or stun the ball.
Yeah, I do.
But like I was talking earlier about playing the 5 ball where you drew it one way. That's what it was. You drew it out and around to come up on the ball on the side. And I thought you should get lower and just roll it into the rail and come back out on the ball on the side. 2 different ways to get the same thing.
I pretty much play shape to draw the ball, and it's an addiction. When I was little and I first saw somebody that could really draw the ball, I thought it was just the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life because I didn't realize that I didn't understand how that was possible. So, yeah, I just thought it was so damn cool. And so that's the shot I would always practice. I had to figure out how this guy was doing it. And then when I learned how to do it, I just kind of became addicted to it and patterned my whole entire game because I wanted to draw all 9 balls or all 7 balls or all 8 balls. I don't know. It's just,
then later on go with the forward stroke. I got it.
Yeah, later on I realized I couldn't always do that on every shot, so I better learn the rest of the shots.
Well, the thing that's interesting is, I remember playing straight pull. So straight pull is mostly, you're drawing it a little bit, you're following it a little bit, and you're stopping it. You're not moving it around the table nearly as much like 9 ball, right?
Yeah.
But I remember I was going through Robert Burns' book on pool.
Another good one.
Okay? And there's a thing in there, and it says, and it's a draw drill. And you're making the ball in a corner pocket, drawing it back into the side rail with English, and trying to at least get it all the way to the head rail, right? And he says, if you see a guy shooting this shot, don't play him for money. If you're walking in there and you see some guy who's drawing the ball like that, don't just walk up there and play him for money because this guy's got a stroke. Well, unless it's kind of like your break shot where the back end of the cue goes up a lot.
Yeah, that's a habit I've been trying to break. I used to come way the hell up on the break.
Yeah, I can never do it. I was always better with short and fast. I can go fast, but I can't. That big thing there, I just can't do it. If I just soften it up and go, I seem to hit it better. So,
well, in the old days, everybody was breaking back in the old days as hard as a man could break. I mean, it was all about power. And then as the years went on, people started learning that if you can control the break, you're in a way better position than the guy that just, like David Howard, just slams the hell out of the ball.
Right. But that goal back then was to try to make 3 balls on the break, make the game easier, as opposed to, as you and I have witnessed, where you might rack the balls a certain way, break them nice and soft, make the one in the side and have a dead shot on the 2. Yeah. Or make the wing ball and have an easy shot on the one in the corner, right? Yeah. You are playing, the break is now a shot. It's not just whale the shit out of it. Right. So
So all that has changed over the years, but I'm having a little bit of trouble adapting to the new. I'm still old school. It's all power. It's all
Right.
I'll take whatever I can get as long as I make 3 balls on the break. I don't give a shit what I'm left with. I know I can make something out of it, and it's the wrong way to think.
That was funny too, because I remember the time you said, "Oh, you're kind of perceptive." When I was talking about the fact you were getting razzed by the railbirds, it was obvious you wanted to just.
Yeah, that's James Lewis back there, and his friend's name's Red. Neither one of them can play.
Like giving you a hard time though while you're playing, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They really do. But and I've said this before. I kind of welcome it because you're always going to run into this. And these guys, James and Red, they do piss me off sometimes, man. I mean, they go over the line where they're not just, uh, giving me a hard time. They start saying personal shit and stuff.
Right.
And there have been times where they've gotten the best of me.
Yeah. Well, it is good because I was one of these guys that if you walk in my line, right, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like I commented about the older guy, that one time that walked right down. You were down on the shot.
Yeah,
And he
that's right.
walked right over and looks over the shot that you're shooting. And you kind of looked at him and stood up. You didn't bother you, but it was kind of like, why would that's but to take that to the next level. Before I started playing where I'm at the bowling alley, there was the local pool hall here that I got started to. I got started there with a local pro trying to help the kids in the neighborhood. They were doing free lessons for high school kids. Like an hour after school or a couple hours. Parents could get people involved. And we were trying to get the kids started into the sport, and was basic. So they were doing this promotion at the pool hall. And a friend of mine, Dave Hema, actually asked me to, come on over and help with what was going on, which I did. And I ended up just taking a membership at that pool hall. And I didn't know it at the time, but I've told you before that now that pool hall was the hometown Filipino pool hall.
Uh-huh.
So first off, a lot of stuff in there, I just had to learn to get used to because the guys, all the guys in there are great guys, they're great people, but it's kind of like when you watch the videos of gambling over in Manila, right? They got powder all over the damn place. Guys are screaming, talking, walking right by the table. You've got all of this world of distraction.
Yeah, I don't know how they can play like that. You're bending over a table and you have people like right behind you.
Right.
And you can barely extend your stroke and you're hitting somebody.
Right. Or what gets me is the guys, I've seen Efren over there, bent over the shot, and the guy walks right up behind Efren and puts his finger in the chalk and marks the ball while Efren's down on the ball in case they have to put the ball back or whatever they're doing, and I'm going, my God. Well, I used to be very gun shy when people walked by me, you're paying attention and get taken out of my shot. Playing in there, it doesn't happen anymore. I play through things I don't even realize happen. People go, didn't you see that? I go, see what? So my focus actually has finally gotten to where when I get down on the table, my focus is exactly right there.
Yeah.
And it's not being pulled out.
Right.
It was weird.
That's why I welcome the Sharkin and the Trolls because I take it as a challenge. You're going to run into this everywhere you go, and especially out in the bars. So if you can block that out and just put everything you have into the shot, all your concentration, all your energy, everything, and to where that doesn't matter to you, then you've overcome a big obstacle in pool.
Absolutely.
And nothing's going to bother you. You have a job to do, and you have to do it. If there's, I don't pretend to be perfect. I make a lot of mistakes in my video, and it's just all about teaching people how to get back in line and not to quit, not to lose their head, to breathe, to tell yourself it's okay.
I like that part. Yeah, breathe, relax. And like I said in the comment a couple videos ago, you ended up with a couple of tough shots that were just a little off, kind of that odd angle. And you stepped back from the table like 2 feet so that you could do a full walk into the shot.
Yes.
And make sure you saw that angle as opposed to what a lot of us do. I try not to do it. I'm trying to be very aware of it, but I have friends that will, they shoot a shot and, their ass is rubbing on the table the whole way around till they drop down on the next shot. They never get away from the table to really see what's going on.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're also when you're practicing, of course, you're trying to maximize your time at the table.
Yeah.
Unless it's a certain thing. But I just, that's why I throw it out there, though, when you did it, and I put it in your videos, my comments, because I think those are all cool things, and I want the other people to kind of recognize, because if you didn't mention it, I try to mention it so they recognize what you did.
Yeah, I remember the comment, and I'm glad you said something about that. I should talk more about that. I think I do that a little bit more than you might recognize, and I'll mention it in my next few videos where it might not be, unless I say something about it, like, look, right here, I stepped back 3 feet from the table. You might not have noticed it.
Right. You could have just stepped out of the frame, and I can't tell what's happening.
Right.
But, okay. And most of your videos, you're not making as a YouTube video, you're practicing, right? And you're working on things.
Right.
And even, that's the scary part. Even when you're screwing up, you're getting out.
It's just because I've done it the wrong way so long that I can do it both ways.
And you have to explain where the hell it went wrong. So that's a big learning thing as well. Right? You learn from your mistakes, and the other guys will too, actually. So.
Right, but at the end of the day, you have to win, or you're going to go home broke.
That's true.
So I think my most powerful videos are when I do it wrong, and I'm out of line, and I get back in line.
That's a big one. When you get back in line, not get out. Getting out's great, but getting back in line to get out,
right,
and then making the rest of that rack easy.
Because now it's all about heart, and not so much being a great pool player, but really wanting to win.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, so you got a bad shot on a 9 ball, and you're all the way down the table because you played the 7 ball wrong, and you got bad on the 8, and you had to take what you could get, and this is the best you could do. Are you going to win? Or are you just going to say you suck and quit and give up? And I think that's the most valuable YouTube lesson that I could ever teach, is to never, ever, ever, ever give up. Ever. Don't ever do it.
That's great. Yeah.